Hey there, are you a San Antonio area mom business owner? If so, we've got some exciting news for you. The doors to our Working Moms of San Antonio business owners community are now open. Join us now in our supportive community for some local networking events, social media templates, classes and workshops, business resources, and to be a part of our exclusive referral directory. We love to help our working mom business owners grow. So visit workingmoms-of-san-antonio.com/founding-members or just click the link in the show notes to join us. See you in the community.
We're Erika Marie and Marie Lifschultz, a San Antonio area realtor and lender, but most importantly, we're working moms.
The goal of this podcast is to provide support and a sense of community to San Antonio area working moms like us. So join us in trying to find a balance between career, family, and everything in between. Welcome to this episode of the Working Moms of San Antonio podcast. We're here with Samantha from Foxxy Insurance, and I'm going to just kind of hand it over to her and let her introduce herself.
So much for having me. Of course, first of all, just have to say that I'm super excited to be here. I know y'all just recently interviewed Claudia with Vanidosa, so I got to hear that. So that's exciting, seeing your friends be on a show that you're going to be on. So I'm super excited about that. Again, my name is Samantha. I'm with Foxxy Insurance, and I typically do this thing when I go to events. When I talk about my business, just because it's something that catches the eye. It kind of stand out. But what I do is I help small businesses and self-employed individuals find what the best health insurance options are available for them. And so that's honestly pretty much what I do.
Yeah, that's great.
How long, Samantha, have you been doing the insurance part?
So I've been with U.S. Health Advisors for 7 months now, so fairly new to the industry, but it is something that I enjoy doing.
Awesome. Well, we got to meet you at one of our networking events, and I was telling Erika how I just enjoyed your energy. Like, I love the marketing, the Foxxy stuff. It made me remember you, and I was like, I love them. They're so much fun, and we have to have her on. So, and I was telling her about all the stuff that you did. So tell us a little bit about the insurance and how, like, if someone was looking for insurance, what is kind of the first thing that they would, I guess, look for, or how do they go about knowing what their needs are?
Right. So everybody's needs is different, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to find what the best policy is for you. The best thing about our insurance is that it is customizable to each individual, whereas most insurance options that you find on the marketplace are going to be cookie cutter, right? Everything's going to be the same. With my insurance, I'm able to provide customizable, so you can change your deductibles, you can change your if you want doctor's office visits or don't want doctor's office visits, you can pick and choose what fits best for your situation. The easiest way to see what's available is they can just reach out to me either directly through social media, they can call me, they can email me, whatever works best for them. And because I do deal with a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs, I do typically work late evenings and weekends, so it makes it convenient for them.
Got it.
That's great. How did you get into the insurance industry?
That's a great question. So I used to work for Bank of America. I worked for corporate America for a long time. Years of banking industry, and COVID hit, right? So I was working from home, and it was okay. As y'all said, I'm a social butterfly, I'm out there. I enjoy meeting and greeting people. And so we ended up having to transition to permanent work from home. And so when I thought it was going to be something temporary, it turned into long term. At the time, I was kind of going through a health conditions with severe migraines. It was pretty crazy. I lost my vision for almost a couple of weeks because of a medication I was taking. So
oh my gosh.
It's so crazy what I went through. But ultimately, permanent work from home just kind of killed me. Right.
Yeah.
I lost who I was. I lost my drive. I lost my happiness, just because when you're home 24/7, and then I have 3 kids, it's just a lot in one house.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I needed to take some time to kind of get back on the right track, to get my health back together. Now, thankfully, I hardly get any migraines.
Oh, good.
But I was like, took time off and I decided I'm gonna go ahead and look for something. And I really didn't care what it was. I was just out there looking to see what was available because I've
Sure.
always been in the banking industry for so long.
Hmm.
And so I ended up looking for just any type of job. And I was invited to recruiting. And I went and they pretty much sold me the dream, you know. It was an amazing recruiting. And the personality and the vibes that I received when I went, it just kind of felt like I was in the right place at the right time.
Oh wow, that's a cool story. I It's kind of the opposite of what we've heard recently. Like a lot of people during COVID obviously worked in maybe in an office, went home, and then did not want to go back to the office, did
Right.
not want to get back out and see people. And you were the opposite. You're like, no, 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 no. I got to be around people, and I definitely see that in your personality. Like listening to you and hearing you at the networking event we had, I was like, oh, she's great. Like she's the best person to get you out there.
Yeah. Some people
Yeah,
thrive in it, you know, some people thrive
you're
at
right.
working
Yeah.
from home. My
Yeah.
mom, she works from home, she loves it, and I'm just total opposite. I'm like, I need to be out, like I'm free.
Well, it's refreshing to hear. Definitely refreshing to hear that you wanted to get out and be around people because so many people didn't, and they got really comfortable being at home. And for example, I think I got into that mix. I love being in the office, but I miss that camaraderie with people, the brainstorming with people, and being in the same, place and actually sharing ideas. But now I'm like, it's hard to get out there. It's harder for me to do what I used to do just because I gotten so used to working at home.
Yeah.
So
I think the dynamic, like, after COVID has totally changed for a lot of people. Like,
I
well, and
agree.
Marie will tell you, I like to be at home. If I would
She's
never
a
have to go
homebody.
out, I would never I would never go out. But part of my job is going out, so that's the deal. In real estate, you got to get out there and talk to people and stuff. But it's just like Marie mentioned, it's just things are a little bit different now. And so it's even hard to get our clients to get out and, like,
Yeah.
people used to meet Marie, as a lender, you'd come into the office, right? And you'd talk about
Mhm.
your loan and you'd do this and you'd do that. She can't get anybody to come into the office now.
Not really, it's hard. They all wanna
Yeah.
be virtual, and I think
Yeah.
for building businesses for people, for me especially, if I can get you in person, I can definitely sell myself a lot better than versus on the phone or via email,
Right.
or people realize that, "Hey, I'm a real person, I'm not just a text message. I'm not just an email." So I think it's been a struggle to get out there, and then obviously meeting referral partners or people out there in the community has been difficult, and I just think you are a star at that. I've kind of seen some stuff, and I was telling, I think I told you earlier, I was kind of stalking online a little bit. Like she has some great questions, things I didn't even think about doing, and especially
Yeah.
with you having to get out there and get your own business. I work in the corporate world, and but I don't get leads or business fed to me. I have to get out there and get it. So can you give us some things since you just started kind of in your insurance industry? You've done really, really well networking. So tell us a little bit about some of the stuff that you do.
Oh man, I love networking. I think it is one of the best things as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, to get
Mhm.
out there and to meet people. At first, the very first networking event I went to, I was so scared and nervous, and I had one of my leads go with me. I was like, "Can you just go with me, please?" And I show up, and I end up running into three people I knew. Right. And so it was
Wow.
just like it was crazy to me. I wasn't expecting it to be like that. I mean, I know I've been able to meet in a lot of people, right, throughout
Yeah.
my life. And so I didn't expect to meet anybody that I already knew. So it kind of like, oh, I was able to let my guard down. It got me a little bit
Yeah.
easier to kind of be like, okay, this I got this, right? Um, so I was doing about maybe one event a week that I was going to, and I had another mentor and was like, "No, you need to do 5 events a week." And I was like, "5? Are you crazy?" Right?
That's so many.
It's a lot, it's a lot. Okay, it is a lot, but as long as you're able to, manage your time, and
Yeah.
find the best events that you feel are going to be the best fit for you, where you see the most value in going to. It's kind of easy, you know, and a lot of people is the main thing is time. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to save as much time as possible. So what I try to do is every month I have my regular events that I do go to. And you can find these events on Facebook. Facebook always posts them. You can find them on Meetup. You can find them on all events in San Antonio. And then Eventbrite. Those are the four main ones that I was using in the beginning. But also, if you don't know, there's also the San Antonio Business Calendar. I'm not sure if y'all ever heard of that.
I've heard of it. I probably never thought to utilize it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a great tool. So there's two ways that you can use that calendar, and this is just for everybody because I know not a lot of people are aware of it. So they do have a monthly subscription. I believe it's $10 that you can sign up for it. And it shows you all the events for that month that are up and coming. And then there's also just a free daily. So every morning it's updated for that day. So you can go to San Antonio Business Calendar and they'll have the events from morning, lunch, and evenings that you can look at for that day.
I didn't know
Had you
about
heard of
that
that,
at all.
Erica? Me
No.
either.
Yeah.
No, I never
Dropping some
have.
knowledge for y'all.
Yeah, no,
No,
that's a
that's
great tip.
great. Well, you had mentioned something about like the biggest thing is managing your time. And I think that's something I have a hard time with because when I
Yeah.
get out and socializing, I don't think of time. And I'm like, oh my God, I was supposed to be here an hour, hour and a half. It's now been 2.5. Now I'm late for my next appointment or whatever.
Right.
So can you tell us a little bit about what you're talking about as far as time management? So because you do so many events, how do you manage your time with that and being a mom? Right? Because you kids have events and so forth. So how do you do that?
Yeah.
First, I just need to thank God for my amazing kids because when I tell y'all I have some great kids, I don't even know how great they are. Like, I don't know how I got them to be so amazing. I have a 16-year-old, a 15-year-old, and my youngest is about to turn 9 at the end of this month. And my older boys are the rock. Like, I've raised them to be individually strong independent men, right? And it's crazy because they're still young. I forget how young they are, but the way that I've been able to raise them, they are amazing. They cook, they clean, you know.
Right.
If there's a mixer that I have to go to, I'll let them know, hey, I have to go to this event for work. Okay, mom, we'll make dinner. We'll make sure my youngest
Oh,
is
I
in
love
bed
that.
if I'm home late. So I couldn't have done this without my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely I have to build that relationship with my kids to give them an understanding of what my job is and you know, what my title entails me to do and what I have to do in order to provide for us. And they're very understanding and they're very encouraging in what I do. And so that first, I just got to thank my kids for that. As far as time management goes, it's definitely going to be up to you. You know, as an entrepreneur, you are your own boss. So it's going to be what days are going to be the slowest for you personally and what events are available within that time frame. Right now, you don't necessarily have to be at the event for the length of the time, right? We
Yeah.
understand that there's things that are going on. You're self-employed. We understand that as well. Your time is very important. So it's just gonna be what are the best events that you feel are gonna bring the most value to you. So of course, as for realtors and lenders, you're definitely gonna want to see what type of lender and realtor events that they are. You know, it's just gonna depend on what specific you're looking for to network with.
Got it.
Right. Yeah. I think it's hard, like you're saying. I mean, it's hard to manage your time. And like you were saying, Marie, I know for me, like if I'm in something, like if I'm working on something, it's so hard for me to like step away and then all of a sudden the whole day's gone. So I think it's really
Yeah.
about, you know, what Samantha was saying, like you've got to kind of make it a priority a little bit if that's what you're going to be doing. You know, you have to kind of say like, hey, this is important for this reason. And really kind of get out there and kind of make yourself. For me, like I said, if I never had to go out, I would never go out. Like I have to make myself do these things, you know, for business reasons.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm
Yeah.
not the only one that feels that way.
So
Yeah.
I think I think what you were saying also, I mean, obviously I have so my eldest at home is 15, and then my younger one is 13. And they, now that they're at that stage in life, they can do a lot on their own. They're
Yeah.
able to stay home if I need them to stay home um by themselves. They're able to use the microwave, and we use the stove here and there, and the oven's a lot better that I'm more comfortable with them. But for the most part they can do so. It allows me to do a little bit more. But having that support system, whether it is your kids or your spouse, or maybe mom and dad that live with you, or grandma, grandpa, that type of stuff. So having that support system at home, or to help you be a successful working mom, right? Because I mean, I always said I didn't have kids for someone else to raise them. I wanted to be part of their life. So I chose my career based on having the flexibility. I want to be at whatever play or sporting event that they're part of. That I want to be to have, without having a boss telling me, oh, you can't take off your PTO, or you're out of PTO or whatever. So there are upsides and downsides.
Yeah, and I mean also, for moms, right, especially that have little ones, there are networking groups, well, at least one that I know of, so I'm gonna plug her in. So
Okay.
for there is an event for moms, and you're able to take your kids. It's called Cafe y Conexiones, right?
Okay.
And so it's a moms group. If you haven't heard of them, I would definitely check them out. We go and have coffee and meet and greet and network with other moms in the business, and you're able to take your kid with you, so it is kid friendly. And I think that's another option that's available out there for moms that have younger kids, when they're not in daycare and they're playing both, teacher and
Yeah.
mom and everything all together. So those are also groups that you can look for that are going to help benefit you in the business.
Samantha, do you think there's a need for more groups like that? More groups that have where it's acceptable to bring, like, say, your younger children and moms, and show, to have events that allow for you to network, meet other working moms, and have kids there? Because I mean, I know we have the working moms of San Antonio where we share ideas, and we've had events just to have. It was more geared to, I guess, creating friendships, not so much geared to networking, but maybe in having events that, I mean, it's rare to hear where you have a networking event primarily for work, but hey, bring the kid along. That it's okay with us, you know.
Yeah, I mean, again, I was able to find this group, luckily, thankfully. And of course my kids are older, so I
Yeah,
don't really have that issue of like, oh, I have my kid, I have to take my kid. But for younger moms, and of course being a mom, we're all moms. So
yeah.
we get it. Kids screaming, crying, whatever's going on, we've been there at one point.
Hmm.
And so I think it's such a great dynamic that we're able to do that. And I don't see a lot of events that are kid friendly. Now, you might have, I know there was like a realtor event where you can bring your family and friends, but that's more of just kind of like I would say like a mixer type thing, where you're just kind of
Hmm.
like getting to hang around and enjoy everybody's company. Whereas, the networking events that we're able to do with Cafe Conexion, with Lisa, they definitely are able to, we talk about our business, and we're able to bring our kids around and play with the kids, whatever we need to do to keep them occupied, and also kind of give those moms a break, because we know what it's like.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. I think I heard something not too long ago. It's like, if you're gonna hire someone, hire a mom who owns her business, because they're the best at the multitasking. They
Oh yeah.
can. I was at first I was like, how? I mean, you might have a crying kid in the back, but you're able to focus on whomever you're speaking to at a networking event, and still get everything in, and still take care of the child that's in the background. You know. So they said that we're best at multitasking. So that's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
And
sure.
so,
for sure.
So since you obviously have your own business and you've started this within the last few years, I'm curious, and sometimes we've asked people this in the past, like, is there, like, what do you think your biggest struggle was kind of getting up and going and that kind of thing? And then I'm curious about what your biggest win has been, in terms of having your own business.
yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, everyone that starts a business is gonna struggle. It doesn't
Sure.
matter, and especially in the beginning, because for me personally, I've always worked for corporate Always. I've
Mhm.
never been my own boss, but now I am, and it's amazing. But I'll never go back to corporate America again. And it's not that I didn't enjoy what I did. It's not that I didn't enjoy my management team, my company that I work for. I loved everything about it. It's just sometimes you have to see what's going to be best for you, and for especially being a parent. I mean, being an entrepreneur, yes, it's a lot of work, but it also allows you that time to be a parent. And
Yeah.
so I think for me in the beginning, struggling was really trying to change that dynamic with my kids. Like they've always seen me at home, obviously, because I was working from home, right? And so now I kind of had to pull away, and okay, well, I'm not going to be here during these times, or and I think that was my initial struggle, was just kind of getting my kids onto that whole, this is a new way of living that we're going to do, and I'm going to need y'all to step up for me a little bit. I know that you're young and you don't need these responsibilities, but it's going to be better for you in the future. So I just got to kind of
Yeah.
guide them on that. And just kind of understanding, what is owning your own business? What is it about? What do I have to get in order? There's so many things that you have to do. And so understanding each thing to put in order for that, that was kind of my hardest part, was just kind of how to get it started, honestly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, what do you think? We always ask this too, and so I'll ask it now because we're kind of on the subject. But what do you think is your favorite thing about what you're doing right now, in terms of the insurance business and that kind of thing?
Yeah, so definitely getting out there and providing more knowledge, right? Because there's a lot of small businesses and self-employed individuals that aren't aware that there's other options that are available for them.
Right.
Most people just hear, oh, the marketplace, marketplace, marketplace. But there are other options on the private market that you can look for. And just kind of let them know, don't be afraid to look other places. A lot of people are just so used to consistency in what they've already had,
Yeah.
that sometimes they're kind of scared to outreach and see what other options are available for them because they're so comfortable, right? But it might just not be the best situation for them. So being able to educate others and let them know what options are available for them, and fit what best fits their specific needs, is definitely what I love doing.
So educating them for the most part sounds like you love
Yes.
like letting people know, hey, you don't have just one option. There's several out there. So educating them on the resources they have. That's great. That's kind of what our previous podcast, Claudia, she was her
Yeah.
favorite thing was doing was educating her clients.
Yeah.
So that's it's I think that's us as moms, we like to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, and I'm sure I'm not the only person that feels this way. Like, I don't know a lot about insurance and like how that
Mm-mm.
works. And like you sort of, just like you said, you sort of are used to what you're used to. And so you kind of just show up at the doctor. And I'm almost really never sure how much we're going to pay for stuff. You know what I mean? You go up there and you give them your card and stuff, and they might tell you it's this much and they might tell you it's this much, but you've got to go, right? So you're there and you just pay it and it's whatever. And so I just feel like it's important to do that educating, because I just don't think people really know. I don't think people really know what they're getting, and they don't really get how it
No.
works. And so I think that's super important.
I think it should be a class in school teaching
Right.
people how to handle your insurance and your
Yeah.
benefits and what is it, because as an adult, even you get there, I mean, like if you're in corporate America, you get benefits that are given to you, and you have a few, maybe 4 or 5 plans that maybe, hopefully, if you have a great company, that gives you some options. But some of the, you're like, "Oh, I don't know what I need, you know?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I know, like, from a mom perspective, when I was having my first daughter, I worked for a company. It was a small company. And I mean, I paid for my insurance. I paid out of my check, every time they gave me a check and that kind of thing. And then lo and behold, I got pregnant and stuff. And like we were going to the doctors and doing whatever. They didn't have maternity coverage. And so I
Oh,
had insurance that I was paying for, but like all this stuff that I was going to have to pay for this baby just wasn't covered. But I had no idea. Like, I just feel like there's a lot of misinformation, and there's a lot of just, like I said, you just don't know. And so we were kind of shocked in that moment. And I'm sure that's happened to people, before. You just don't
mhm.
know kind of what your whole plan is about, even if you're paying for it.
Yeah, we do see that a lot of, people are just so used to paying for what they think is the best situation for them. So as an advisor, what we're able to do is sit down and just talk to you, even if it's to kind of go over what certain benefits you currently have and just kind of give you a better understanding of what that is and what it entails. That's definitely what we like to do, is be able to go over those options that you have as far as insurance. And you're right, we're not, we didn't go to school and learn, oh, this is your benefits, taxes, insurance, like any of that stuff, right?
Yeah, any
So
of the important stuff.
you have to, yeah, you have to kind of like, okay, mom and dad, like, do you know about this? And even then, they might not even know. So you're just
Correct.
kind of taking a chance on what someone else is telling you, and going from there. And I know, because I've been in that same position when I worked for corporate America. At first, before I even knew about benefits, and I was starting off very young, I was like, oh, okay, just give me whatever, as long as it's health insurance, right? I
Yeah.
don't care what it is.
Yeah,
But there's so many different varieties and of different coverages that each person needs as an individual. So yeah, education is the best thing for that, because a lot of people have no idea what they're paying for. They're just paying for it.
Just
right.
paying. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's true. I had a similar situation, Erica, when I got pregnant with Tyler. I didn't realize I didn't understand how it worked. I just signed up for the insurance, and I think I probably went with the cheapest one I could get. I didn't realize I didn't have my job didn't have maternity leave, and they didn't have I think it was short-term disability, where it would pay a portion of your salary during the time that you're off or took off. I didn't realize I didn't have it. I didn't realize it wasn't included. So
Right.
when came time to have it, I ended up having to have an emergency C-section. So I ended up being out longer than I had planned. I didn't realize I wasn't going to get paid because I didn't have the right type of insurance. No clue. Nobody from HR said, "Hey, you might want to sign up this, for this benefit or whatever." Like, no clue, because I didn't have anybody advising me. Because no one tells you. They don't tell you what those things cover. So, and if you're not reading it all, and you're young, and you don't know. So that's awesome that you do that. And I love that the part, like you said, I like to educate your clients about, hey, these are the type of insurance you're getting, and this is what it will cover, because a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool,
Well,
cool.
yeah. So, and then at the end, we always have people sort of tell everybody, how they can be reached for their services and stuff. And so if you want to say that stuff, then people can get a hold of you for insurance.
Sure, yeah, I'd be more than happy to. So, I mean, honestly, I'm big on social media. So,
Hmm.
you can either go to my personal page, it's Samantha Guajardo, last name is Guajardo. You can add me on there. I do have a business page as well. It's Foxxy Insurance with 2 X's. So Foxxy. Yes, I love that. When it's so funny that you did that. When I go to networking events and I forget to do that, like, people will literally do the little ears, and it just makes my day. I'm like, I love y'all so much. So yeah, you can find me that way. You can call or text me directly on my cell phone. It's 210-865-1775. That is my personal cell phone, so anybody can reach me. It's so much easier just to contact me directly. I have a website in progress, so in the future I'll update that. But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, definitely social media is the best way, or call and text as well.
Great. That's great. Well, I want to tell you, thank you for being on here. I feel like I learned a little bit about insurance and a little bit about networking and a little bit about mom stuff and, all of it. So thanks for being
Mhm.
on. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Working Moms of San Antonio podcast. And we'll just catch you guys next week.
See you guys next week.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Working Moms of San Antonio podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media at our respective Instagram accounts or join our Working Moms of San Antonio Facebook group. Those links can be found in our episode description. If you have an episode topic suggestion or question, please email us at office@radisagent.com. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. See you next week.